Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Room Snow. Today we'll be going over Magic the Gathering top 10 cryptic cards in all of Magic. And now, at number 10. So the first one on our list is Cryptic Anneliad from various sets. Uncommon, just going for an average price of 13 cents. Well, the reason why it's at number 10 is, well, we had to put something on here, and it's a very interesting Warm Beast creature, so we don't typically see that. Costs 4 mana for a 1/4. It says, when it enters the battlefield, scry 1, then scry 2, then scry 3. Well, there's other things you can do that are much faster, and just for a 1/4, this might as well just be a wall, and that's the reason why it's at number 10. So let's move on to number 9. And number 9, as you just mentioned, is one of my personal favorites, is Cryptic Spires from Double Masters of 2022. It's a common going for 11 cents on the market. At the time of this video, this is fluctuating in the price value because this is the newest set that has been released. So again, Cryptic Spires, really cool card. Basically, you just circle 2, and it comes to play tapped. Add 1 mana of the circle colors of your choice. Well, it's an easy choice. I think, personally, if you don't want to play anything other, like rare land, this one, you can just write it on. The only downfall is you better have a lot of Cryptic Spires, because once you do it, that's it. You ruin the card. Then again, you did ruin the card if you do circle it. Really cool card, really cool flexibility. But let's move on to number 8. At number 8, we have Myojin of the Cryptic Dreams from Neon Dynasty Commander. It's a rare, just going for a whopping 35 cents at the time in this video. Well, it costs 8 for this 3/3. Pretty expensive if you look at that point. But it enters the battlefield with an indestructible counter on it if you cast it from your hand. Remove a counter from it, copy target permanent spell that you control 3 times. Well, that's a lot of flexibility, but really 3 times, what could you possibly do? For that amount of mana just to do this, I seems to be like, even though this is a rare, it's too much. That's why it's at number 8. So let's move on to number 7. We have Yannette Cryptic Sovereign from Commander 2018. It's a mythic. That's right, $1.72. Well, this 3/5 costs 5 mana, has Flying, Vigilance, and Menace. Really hard to beat that. When it attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If that card's converted mana cost is odd, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, draw a card. 100% nothing drawback about this. I just personally, I don't really like this card. Just it costs this amount of mana for all this, and can be easily taken out as opposed to anything else. But you draw a card. I don't know. I'd rather take control of my own card ability. So let's move on to number 6. Which we have is Cryptic Serpent from various sets, being an uncommon with an average price of 13 cents. This one is basically pretty simple and basic. Well, 5 plus 2 islands. It's a 6/5. It costs 1 less to cast for each instant sorcery card in your graveyard, which can be very done easy, especially if it is a vintage or a type 1 or whatever you want to do. This can be brought out by turn 4 possibly. So that's a really cool card. I like that. So let's move on to number 5. And halfway down our list is Cryptic Pursuit from New Capita Commander Series. It's a rare gold just for 42 cents on the market. This one costs 4 mana, and well, this card could be great or it could be really horrible. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, manifest the top card of your library. Put that card onto the battlefield, face down as a 2/2 creature. Turn it face up anytime its mana costs if it's a creature card. Whenever you face down creature you control dies, exile it. Instead, if it's an instant sorcery card, you may cast that card until the end of your next turn. Whoop-de-doo. So this basically brings out creatures. There are some side effects that could help, but there's so much wrong with this card. But it is a cryptic card, so it is better than some. So let's move on to number 4. Well, we got Cryptic Caves. It's from various sets, being an uncommon with an average price of 12 cents on the market. It's pretty basic. Add 1 colors. Well, you can also pay 1, sacrifice it, draw a card. Activate this ability only if you control 5 or more lands. So at that point, you might be out of cards. A drawing card, just can't beat that. That's one reason why it's at number 4, is because by the time you can do this ability, most likely you will need more cards in your hand. So let's move on to number 3. Where we have is Cryptic Trilobite from Commander 2020. It's a rare going for an average price of 36 cents on the market. And this one I put here is because It can be a creature of whatever you want, but it's also those extra abilities. So enters the battlefield with X+1/+1 counters, but it notices that it's XX on the top right. Also, you may remove a counter from it, add a 2 colorist to it. Spend this mana ability only to activated abilities. Pay 1, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So you can just use it as a plain creature, pump it up, or use it to get more mana for those activated abilities. You can just, so much you can do around with this one. So let's move on to number 2. Well, we got Cryptic Gateway from Onslaught, being a rare with an average price of $8.08, and we're finally starting to get to some playable and expensive cards of the top 10 Cryptic. This one costs 5 mana for this artifact. I absolutely love the artwork by David. And this one says, tap 2 untapped creatures you control. You may put a creature card from your hand into play that shares a creature type with each creature tapped this way. Well, there's not much more to say about that. That's pretty obvious and explained. And for 5, yeah, that can be very helpful. So let's move on to number 1. Well, at the number 1 spot, we got Cryptic Command from various sets, being a rare with an average price of $16.90. Well, look at the artwork. Look at the card. Absolutely amazing. Well, it costs only 4 mana, but it says choose 2. Counter target spell, or return target to its owner's hand, or tap all creatures your opponent controls, or draw a card. Wow. And you get to choose 2 for that 4 mana. When considering most counter spells nowadays cost 3. This is an ultimate card that you can have fun with. Definitely controlling the board. So there is that. And that's the top 10 Cryptic. So I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening.